Guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. All right, so in this video we are going to be talking about Ford Focus and Ford Fiesta transmission control module, the TCM, to the power clutch failure symptoms. And this is unfortunately quite common with these Ford models. Essentially, there is an issue with the ground wire that causes these issues. However, if you fix the ground wire issue and you still have this problem, changing out the TCM is quite expensive, because that part normally is around $900, and there is a recall for this, but since it's 2022, the warranty is probably well out of date. But here's a couple of things that happen, and this is outside of all the error codes that you get from the shifting issues, no start issues, shifting issues, hard starting, hard shifting, erratic shifting that's caused by the negative ground. If you guys fix that problem, a lot of these other problems associated specifically with the TCM, you guys gonna get flashing indicators, you're gonna get engine trouble codes, and you're gonna have failure to start with the transmission indicator showing. Sometimes the problems seem to clear itself, and the car can be restarted and driven, but it probably it'll probably be a big issue, considering the ground wire is not the culprit of the situation and the TCM is. But along with these symptoms, you're gonna get no reverse possible, you're gonna get no movement, you're gonna get gear shift indicator being erratic, and no crank at times, which is essentially what I just listed for the issue with the ground. And unfortunately, this issue that you'll be getting with this problem is essentially unfortunately going to be quite similar to the ground cable issue. So it might also slip into neutral intermittently, and you might have some jerkiness in the shifting, and then you'll be able to drive it fine, and then it slips into neutral, and you'll be on the side of the road for 10 minutes before it will go back into gear. That's one of the things that could happen. And slipping out of gear is essentially one of the bigger symptoms, or more obvious symptoms, of the TCM going bad, particularly with these particular models by Ford. And if you have it slip into gear, obviously what you want to do is you want to pull to the side of the road if you can, and you want to remove the key. You want to wait a minute or two, then put the key back in. A lot of times it might start, sometimes it won't start, and if it doesn't start, it's a lot of times it is because it's an ignition fault, and unfortunately this ignition fault is related to the TCM fault, and this is quite a common thing, unfortunately. Now the TCM itself was covered under up to 80,000 miles, but like I said, it's 2022 and you guys driven more than 80,000 miles. If you guys are it's probably going to cost you guys about 900 to 1300 for the TCM itself. Now you guys could get an aftermarket, I'm not sure, and you might be able to get a used one from eBay. I haven't actually looked into that, but let's go back to the symptoms again. The car, if you have this situation, your car is not starting, and then or if it's constantly shifting into neutral, it's a big symptom, guys. It's a big symptom. You also probably hear some clicking sounds, but here are also some symptoms that could occur. Miss shift, you could get a rattle, you could the car could be bogged down, like it has very little power, or it seems to shift. It seems to shift, and there's just it just seems like it just seems like it's a catastrophic failure as far as this whole transmission deal is. But going back to whether you can get an aftermarket TCM or used TCM, you probably could. They're probably selling for like $220 on eBay, $220 on average on eBay, or something like that. So if you're one of the lucky ones that haven't had the TCM failures, definitely that's probably a huge win for you guys. But this is not, unfortunately, this is not an uncommon thing. When the situation does come up, you guys will probably have a situation where you guys might be in limp mode, and you'll probably be able to drive it in second gear at best, and you might have the you'll probably have the check engine light code on, possibly with code P0902, which is indicative of the code is for a clutch actuator having issues, and it might go away. It might go away if you park the car and then start it back up again, or it might go away if you drive it for a couple miles, possibly. And this situation might come up depending on whether the weather is cold or whether it's hot out. But I've heard of these situations being worse when it's cold out and you're driving it, and after it warms up a bit, it drives back, it gets back to normal. But in that situation, that seems to be more of a transmission issue more than a TCM issue. And this whole shifting into neutral, symptom that I'm talking about, a lot of times people describe it as shifting into neutral, but shifting into neutral seems more like limp mode when you're actually driving with very little power. Anyway, just want to give you guys a little rundown on the issues, symptoms with the transmission control module on these Fords that have is known for having these kind of issues outside of the ground wire issue. And if you guys haven't watched my video on the ground wire issue, definitely watch my video on the ground wire issue, because there's a lot of these models that actually have this issue where the ground wire causes the these Fords to have these similar issues. But even if you fix the ground wire issue, a lot of times, in a lot of these situations, a lot of people have to change up the TCM because the issues with the TCM are similar to the issues where you would get the ground wire, and both those issues essentially is the TCM having either not enough amperage or the TCM having breaking down or having issues itself. Anyway, if you guys have any of your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. It might help somebody else out. Please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, all this good stuff. And I hope that this has helped in some way to help whatever situation you're in with your vehicle, guys. Take care.